This evening to discuss the very unfortunate actions of my Senate colleague from Alabama blocking the advancements and promotions for hundreds of military officers. I am a senator from Virginia, and Virginia is as connected to the U.S. military mission as any state. 1 out of every 9 Virginians is a veteran. Our active duty community is massive. Our military families, reservists, guardsmen and women, DOD civilians, DOD contractors create a commonwealth deeply, deeply connected to the American military mission. The map of Virginia, Yorktown, where the Revolutionary War ended, the battlefields of the Civil War, Appomattox, where the Civil War ended, Bedford, where a core of young people from that tiny mountain community served and died on D-Day, the Pentagon, where we were attacked on 9/11. Our map is a map of American military history. We train all Marine officers at Quantico. We have the largest naval base in the world in Norfolk and the largest military personnel facility in the world at the Pentagon. Virginia is steeped in the nation's military mission. I also rise as a member of the Armed Services Committee and as the father of a United States Marine to urge my colleague from Alabama, as have my other friends on the floor tonight, to stop punishing our troops and their families, to stop punishing our troops and their families. I want to talk about the policy, I want to talk about the stunt, and I want to talk about the victims. The policy. Senator Tuberville objects to the fact that the Department of Defense will allow a service member to take time off and travel to terminate a pregnancy lawfully. He objects to that policy. Is that policy an unreasonable policy? No. It has been federal policy since the Reagan administration that federal funds could pay for a Peace Corps volunteer to travel to terminate a pregnancy lawfully if the place where that Peace Corps volunteer was serving did not offer reproductive health care access. The Reagan administration was a Republican administration. The policy announced with respect to Peace Corps volunteers in the 1980s was written by then Department of Justice lawyer Ted Olson, who became the Solicitor General under the Bush administration. So for now 40 years, it has been federal policy that if a Peace Corps volunteer chooses to lawfully terminate a pregnancy, the federal government will both allow her time off and pay for her travel. Democratic and Republican administrations. It is similarly federal policy that a female prisoner committed to the Federal Bureau of Prisons will be allowed to travel to terminate a pregnancy lawfully, and that the federal government will pay for that travel. So the policy has been now for 40 years that the federal government will pay for travel of Peace Corps volunteers and federal prisoners to lawfully terminate a pregnancy. Senator Tuberville wants women service members to have fewer rights than federal prisoners. Senator Tuberville wants women service members to not be accorded the same choice and protection that we've accorded Peace Corps volunteers since the early 1980s during the Reagan administration. Why would we say to women who volunteer to wear the uniform of this country and risk their lives that you are not entitled to what we have allowed Peace Corps volunteers and federal prisoners to have for decades? What is it about pledging to wear the uniform and offer your life in service to the nation that should disable you from rights that have been accorded to others. This is the policy that Senator Tuberville wants to reverse. He wants to mandate that our service women receive fewer rights and fewer protections than federal prisoners or Peace Corps volunteers. I find that proposal outrageous. I find that proposal deeply inequitable. But I do defend my colleague's right to have that opinion, if that's his opinion. We have 100 people in this body. We have a lot of different opinions about a lot of different things. But there is a right way and a wrong way. And so now let me move from the policy to the stunt. I'm on the Armed Services Committee. I have my chair here. I've been so pleased to serve with him for the 10 years that I've been in the Senate, and he knows. I've often offered amendments as part of our annual defense bill where I've failed. I've tried to convince my colleagues, for example, in the writing of a defense bill to terminate outdated war authorizations, and I have been told, no, this is not the right committee for that. That should be in the Foreign Relations Committee. I've asked for a vote anyway, and I lost. I couldn't convince my colleagues that I was right. We had a significant debate a few years ago about whether we should do across-the-board cuts in the headquarters at the Pentagon, and I was worried about what across-the-board cuts might do to things like military housing. And so I tried to convince my colleagues to see things my way and instead adopt my position, and I failed. I had the opportunity to persuade them, but I couldn't persuade a majority. So what do you do when you can't persuade a majority? Do you punish people who had nothing to do with the policy that you disagree with? No. Not a single member of our committee has ever taken this step during the 10 years that I have been on the committee until Senator Tuberville has decided to undertake this stunt. Senator Tuberville had an opportunity in connection with the defense bill in the committee to advocate his position. It was actually an amendment drafted by Senator Ernst, and Senator Tuberville was the co-sponsor, to reverse the policy I described earlier and to take away rights from service women, rights that are enjoyed by federal prisoners and Peace Corps volunteers. And they had an opportunity to persuade, and they offered that amendment, and they failed. They couldn't convince a majority of the committee to go along with them. But they had their chance. And so once they have had their chance and failed to persuade their colleagues, they now turn, and Senator Tuberville, I don't want to assert this as Senator Ernst. Senator Ernst and Senator Tuberville have the same position on the policy, but Senator Ernst disagrees with the blockade. Senator Tuberville is now taking out his disappointment. I couldn't convince my colleagues of the policy, so why don't I now punish hundreds of military officers and their families? It's a stunt. When you can't convince your colleagues, be more persuasive next time. Or find a middle ground, or have a dialogue and listen, and maybe the next time you'll try, you'll do it better and you'll be more persuasive. But no, that's not what the senator is doing. Instead, he's deciding to punish these officers and their families. And I will tell you, in some ways, the part of this stunt that makes me the angriest is the part that's happening right now. Right now on the Senate floors, we're debating the defense bill because maybe you could say, I lost my vote in committee, but it's such an issue of conviction and conscience for me that I want to have the whole Senate vote on it. I could see Senator Tuberville, if it really mattered to him, if this policy was really a matter of conviction and conscience for him, you would think he would say, I know I lost in committee, but maybe I'll succeed on the floor of the Senate. And I want that opportunity I want the public to know we have offered Senator Tuberville the ability to vote on this matter on the floor of the Senate. Let's do it in front of the entire American public. You stand up and you say why the Department of Defense policy is wrong, and you put it to a vote and make every one of the 100 senators vote on it. We've given him that opportunity. As of right now, 5 after 11, the night before we hope to finish the NDAA, he's not accepted it. Wait a minute, does he even care about this issue? If it's a matter of conscience and conviction, wouldn't you want to debate it on the floor of the Senate to show how much you care about it? But as of right now, he has not accepted our offer to allow him to have this vote. Why hasn't he accepted the offer? He knows he's going to lose. And probably lose worse than he lost in the committee, because there are many people, both Democrats and Republicans, who are tired of the punishment that he's meting out on these military officers. That's why this is a stunt. If he had the courage of his convictions, he would be on the floor listening to this right now. If he had the courage of his convictions, he would be asking for a vote. If he had the courage of his convictions, he would be accepting the outcome of the vote. And if unsuccessful, he would stop this foolish blockade. Last, about the victims. My colleagues have done a very good job of talking about who is being damaged and how. It's these officers, certainly, but it's really their families. The inability to move, to find a new school for your children. We have officers among the list of those who are being blockaded who, on the assumption of a promotion, because it's been done as a matter of course here in the Senate for decades, sold a home, can't yet buy a new one because the new orders haven't yet come through, have had to pay out of their personal funds to move their families because the military won't pay to move them, hoping that they might be able to get reimbursed. We have a Virginia officer who's been blocked at promotion, whose wife is a public school teacher, who had resigned from her job and not accepted the contract for the public school for the next year on the thought that she would be looking for a job in a new jurisdiction for a public school. And now she's out of the past job without the ability to go find the new job. What do they do to deserve this? My colleagues have pointed out that Senator Tuberville does not object to the qualifications of any of these people. He voted for him in committee. In addition, Senator Tuberville has not asserted that a single one of these people had anything to do with the policy he doesn't like. I mean, it would be one thing if we were nominating for a promotion the individual that developed the policy that Senator Tuberville didn't like. You might understand him subjecting that individual to some more significant scrutiny and even opposition, but none of these people had anything to do with the travel policy announced by the Department of Defense after the Dobbs decision. So punishing people who are serving this country, who had nothing to do with the policy that you complain about, punishing them not because of what they did, but punishing them because you were not persuasive enough to convince your colleagues to embrace a policy that you advanced, it makes no sense. We know we're facing a recruiting challenge in the military. We're facing it generally. We also know that in certain specialties, that recruiting challenge is particularly acute. Use pilots, for an example. Pilots have a lot of opportunities. A number of the officers who are on this list are Air Force or aviators in the other service branches, and they have all kinds of options to go to the private sector and get paid a whole lot more than they do, but they choose to work for less because they're patriotic about this country and they believe this country respects them. What does what does this say to them? What would you do if you were a rational person and you had an opportunity when your promotion was being blocked for something you had nothing to do with? What would you do if there was another opportunity that you could take? My oldest son, who is an active duty and now a Marine reservist, is of an age where an awful lot of people are trying to make this decision about, do I stay in the military or not? I've had a career. I've been in for 8 years or so. Do I stay and make a full career out of it or not? We know from recruiting polling that we have been doing that one of the main reasons that we have a recruiting and retention problem in the military, this was identified in Army polling, is people's belief. It's interesting. I was actually surprised by this polling. We're not having a recruiting challenge because people are afraid to serve or think they might get injured. We're having a recruiting challenge because people believe that if they serve in the military, they will fall behind their peers who don't serve in the military, that their peers who don't serve might advance in their careers and have opportunities decades from now that would be more than what I have if I went in the military. So if that is our significant problem right now, what is the message that is sent to people who might want to serve if they know, wow, one senator who is unhappy with something that the Pentagon does can block my professional advancement even though I had nothing to do with that. Even though I've served honorably and deployed and won a Silver Star and a Purple Heart and other citations for bravery, even though all that happens, if one senator, only one is unhappy with something that the Pentagon has done, they can block my professional advancement just for that reason. How's that going to help us counter the recruiting and retention problem we have in the U.S. military? My colleagues have done a good job of listing some of the particular positions that are vacant. They have no confirmed commandant of the Marine Corps, to come up against possibly no confirmed chief of staff on the Joint Chiefs of Staff, to have no confirmed head of the U.S. Naval Academy. Virginia is a shipbuilding and sub-building state. To have no head of Navy nuclear reactors. We are the premier producer of nuclear subs in the world. The reactors get built in Virginia, in Lynchburg generally, and then they get installed on subs and carriers in Newport News. This is what our state does. This nuclear reactor thing it's not something to mess around with. It's not a minor thing that just anyone can do. To be the head of Navy nuclear reactors is a really important position. We've just announced through President Biden an initiative with Australia and the United Kingdom to do nuclear sub capacity building together over the course of decades. How good will we be at this commitment we have made if we don't have a head of naval nuclear reactors confirmed and serving this country? So I joined with my colleagues on this floor to ask Senator Tuberville, stop punishing these people. They've served enough, they've done enough, they've sweat enough, they've bled enough, they've moved enough, they've sacrificed enough, and they're willing to do even more. Stop punishing them. Stop punishing them. I yield back, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
The gentleman from Rhode Island.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to commend the Senator from Virginia for his articulate and passionate and compelling comments this evening. All of my colleagues. All of them have made the point that these holes have cascading effects. It's not just the individual nominee, it's the person waiting to take his or her position. It's not just someone in uniform, it's a family. So we're talking about hundreds of people on the list for nominations. We're talking of thousands of people whose lives will be changed extraordinarily changed. And the particular effects are on the family. No one serves in the military alone. Families serve. And when you see the disruption that's going to take place, young people not being able to get into schools, teachers who give up their teaching jobs and can't get another, those are real cost. In addition, obviously, to every day wondering whether that service member that your spouse or your father will return, or mother will return. And particularly when they are committed overseas into areas of combat or confrontation. Now, what Senator Tuberville has said, well, let's just vote on them. That's nice. That's ridiculous. We know it would take months and months of exclusive voting on these nominations to clear this list while another list is building up. And also, there's been some suggestions that we simply, well, you know, we've got to get a chief of staff of the Marine Corps, commandant, let's vote on the commandant, let's vote. But there's an ethic in the military, leave no one behind. We cannot turn our backs on the hundreds of relatively young professionals, those colonels who are being promoted to 07. All of them contribute significantly to the protection of this country, to the stability of our armed forces, and they can't be ignored. What I would like to do is to indicate who would be left behind, who at this point are being ignored. In fact, more than that, what I'm going to call off is a roll of honor of men and women who have served and who are being dishonored by Senator Tuberville's hold upon their nominations. I'm going to proceed in a approximately chronological order from the nomination date going forward. The President nominated Colonel Lee A. Swanson to be a Brigadier General in the United States Air Force. She is a senior flight surgeon in the Air Force. Colonel Swanson has 29 years of service, amassing 545 flight hours and 55 combat flight hours, and she carries her medical license in the state of Alabama. Colonel David J. Birkeland was nominated for Brigadier General in the United States Air Force. He is a command-rated pilot with over 3,400 flying hours, including 900 combat hours. Colonel Amy S. Baumgardner, U.S. Air Force, nominated for Brigadier General. She's currently serving as Vice Commander, Air Force Office of Special Investigations at Marine Corps Base Quantico. She has now served 28 years in uniform, spanning 17 different assignments, including Afghanistan. Colonel Ivory D. Carter, nominated for Brigadier General, currently serving as Director Legislative Liaison, U.S. Cyber Command at Fort Meade. He began his Air Force career as an enlisted information manager in 1990. He's now served 33 years in uniform, spanning 15 different assignments. Colonel Raja Shari is nominated to Brigadier General. He is currently serving as an astronaut with NASA. Yes, we are blocking an admiral, we're blocking rather someone who is going to be one of our astronauts. Colonel Jason E. Scruthers is nominated Brigadier General. He's a 1999 graduate of the Air Force Academy. He served 24 years in uniform, spanning 14 different assignments. Colonel John Brian Creel is nominated to Brigadier General. He's amassed over 35 years of uniform service. He is now rated as the command pilot and has more than 7,500 flight hours. He has been awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor Device, one of the most significant decorations that one could obtain in the Air Force. Colonel Nicholas B. Evans has been nominated to Brigadier General. He's currently serving as Executive Assistant to the Commander, Pacific Air Forces Joint Base, Pearl Harbor, Hickam Field. Colonel Bridget V. Gigliotti has been nominated to Brigadier General. She grew up in a Navy family, was commissioned in May 1997 upon graduation from the Air Force Academy. She's now served 26 years in uniform, spanning 19 different assignments. Colonel Chris B. Wolf Hammond, nominated to be Brigadier General. Colonel Hammond is rated as a command pilot, amassing more than 3,000 flight hours, including 400 combat hours. He has now served 25 years in uniform, spanning 17 different assignments. Colonel Leslie V. Hawk. He's currently serving as Commander 52nd Fighter Wing in Germany. He's rated as a command pilot with over 2,400 hours in the F-16, including 285 combat hours in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. He's also been deployed in support of Operations Iraqi Freedom and Noble Eagle. Colonel Kurt C. Helfenstein, nominated as Brigadier General, over 2,700 flying hours in the F-15, T-38, T-37, 905 combat hours over Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan. I think all these gentlemen and ladies who have flown hundreds of hours in combat don't deserve to be disrespected as they are now and wonder if they'll get promoted. Colonel Abraham L. Jackson to be Brigadier General, 25 years in uniform as a career intelligence officer spanning 15 different assignments. Colonel Benjamin R. Johnson to be promoted as Brigadier General. Colonel Johnson was assigned to Charleston Air Force Base, where he flew some of the initial C-17A combat missions of Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom. From 2006 to 2008, Colonel Johnson and his family lived in Amman, Jordan, where he graduated from the University of Jordan as an Olmsted Scholar. He later served as the desk officer for Egypt and Jordan on the Joint Staff J-5 during the Arab Spring. A superbly qualified individual, both as a Air Force officer and as someone that knows a great deal about the Middle East. Colonel Joy M. Caxor, appointed or nominated as Brigadier General, currently serving as Commander, White House Communications Agency, Joint Base Anacostia Bowling. Colonel Christopher J. Leonard, nominated to Brigadier General. Colonel Leonard entered the Air Force in May 1997 after graduating from the U.S. Air Force Academy. He has now served 26 years in uniform, spanning 23 different assignments, including numerous overseas postings. Colonel Christopher Manuri to be Brigadier General, currently serving as Director of Commanders Action Group Headquarters, United States Strategic Command, Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska. Colonel David S. Miller to be nominated as Brigadier General, currently serving as Vice Commander, Air Force Sustainment Center, Tinker Air Force Base, Oklahoma. Colonel Jeffrey A. Phillips to be nominated as Brigadier General. Colonel Phillips receives his commission via Officer Training School at Maxville Air Force Base in Alabama in 1999, following 6 years of service as an enlisted airman. He has now served 30 years in uniform, 24 as an officer, spanning 20 different assignments. Colonel Eric N. Quigley to be Brigadier General. Colonel Quigley was commissioned in 1997 as a distinguished graduate from Utah State University's ROTC program. He has now served 26 years in uniform, spanning 17 different duty assignments, including a deployment to Afghanistan. Colonel Scott Rowe to be a Brigadier General. He has now served 25 years in uniform, spanning 14 different duty assignments, including as Commander, 12th Flying Training Wing, Joint Base San Antonio, Randolph, Texas, and Commander, 18th Operations Group, Kadena Air Base, Japan. Colonel Derek M. Salmi to be Brigadier General. Colonel Salmi is a command pilot with more than 3,000 hours in flight and trainer aircraft. He has deployed in support of Operations Enduring Freedom, Iraqi Freedom, and New Dawn. Colonel Kaylee Stevens, Colonel Stevens is a graduate from Wesley College and receives her commission through ROTC Corps at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and she is a career intelligence officer. Colonel Jose E. Sumagil, to be Brigadier General. He is Chief, Air Force Senate Liaison Division. He's now served 26 years in uniform, spanning 18 different duty assignments. He's rated as a Master Navigator with more than 2,500 flight hours. Colonel Terrence G. Taylor, to be a Brigadier General. Colonel Taylor attended the University of Virginia and received his commission through the Air Force ROTC. He is a command-rated pilot with more than 4,800 flying hours, including 1,800 combat hours. Colonel Daniel J. Voorhees. Colonel Voorhees attended the University of Virginia and was commissioned through ROTC. He has now served 22 years in uniform, spanning 11 different duty assignments. Colonel Michael O. Walters, to be promoted to Brigadier General. Colonel Walters has combat experience in Operations Enduring Freedom, Freedom Sentinel, and Inherent Resolve. He has amassed more than 2,600 flying hours, including 588 combat hours. Colonel Adrian L. Williams, currently serving as Vice Commander, 18th Air Force, Scott Air Force Base. She has now served 23 years in uniform, spanning 16 different duty assignments. The President has also nominated Colonel Corey A. Simmons to be a Brigadier General in the United States Air Force. He has now served 25 years in uniform, spanning 19 different duty assignments. He is a command pilot with more than 3,200 hours in airlift and trainer aircraft. The President nominated Rear Admiral George M. Weekoff to be a Vice Admiral in the United States Navy, Commander U.S. Naval Forces Central Command, Commander 5th Fleet, and Commander Combined Maritime Forces. He has served 33 years in uniform, spanning 29 different duty assignments. The President has nominated the following officers to Brigadier General in the United States Air Force Reserve. Colonel Sean M. Carpenter. He has served nearly 18 years on active duty. He is a command-rated pilot with over 3,000 flying hours, including 325 combat hours, over 5 combat deployments. Colonel Mary Catherine Haddad. Colonel Haddad has 13 years of active duty, spanning 13 different duty assignments, including numerous combat assignments. Colonel James L. Hartley, to be Brigadier General. He has served 23 years of active duty service, spanning 21 different duty assignments, including a number of combat deployments. Colonel Aaron J. Hake. Colonel Hake has served 26 years in uniform, spanning 17 different duty assignments, including a deployment to Turkey. Colonel Joseph D. Janik, to be Brigadier General. Janik earned his commission via Officer Training School, Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama. He is a command-rated pilot with over 4,000 flight hours and 3,000 civilian flight hours. Colonel Michael T. McGinley, to be Brigadier General. He has now served 25 years in uniform, spanning 11 different assignments, including as the director of DIU, the Defense Innovation Unit. Colonel Kevin J. Merrill. Colonel Merrill is a command pilot with more than 3,700 hours in multiple aircraft. He was deployed on several occasions in support of Operations Southern Watch, Enduring Freedom, and Iraqi Freedom. Colonel Tara E. Nolan, to be Brigadier General. She has served 28 years in uniform, spanning 18 different duty assignments, including in support of numerous combat and contingency operations. Colonel Roderick C. Owens, to be Brigadier General. Colonel Owens has served 27 years in uniform, spanning 15 different duty assignments. Colonel Mark D. Ritchie. Colonel Ritchie has 26 years of uniform service. Colonel Ritchie is a command pilot with more than 4,500 flying hours and 675 combat sorties. Colonel Norman B. Shore, Jr., to be Brigadier General. He is a command pilot with more than 3,400 flying hours. The President has also nominated Colonel Kristen A. Hillary to Brigadier General. She has served 30 years in uniform, spanning 14 different duty assignments, including Commander, 752nd Medical Squadron, March Air Force Base, California. And also Colonel Michelle L. Wagner, to be Brigadier General. She now has served 26 years in uniform, spanning 9 different assignments, including 2 medical commands. The President has also nominated the following officers to the grade of Major General in the United States Air Force Reserve. General Elizabeth Arledge. She spent 6 years on active duty working with nuclear weapons, conventional munitions, and special operations aircraft before joining the Air Force Reserve in 1998. Brigadier General Robert M. Blake has amassed more than 4,500 flying hours in military aircraft, including combat sorties in Iraq and Afghanistan. General Vanessa J.E. Dornhofer. She has 27 years of active duty service, spanning 16 different duty assignments. Brigadier General Christopher A. Freeman. Brigadier General Freeman earned his commission from the Air Force ROTC program at the University of Alabama in 1992 as a distinguished graduate. He has been awarded the Purple Heart, the Legion of Merit, and the Defense Distinguished Service Medal. And he is being held in this blockade. And with that, I would like to yield to the senator from Virginia.
Mr. President.
The gentleman from Virginia.
Mr. President, I would like to continue this wall of honor, this honor roll of these patriotic public servants. Rear Admiral John Gumbleton to be Vice Admiral in the U.S. Navy and Deputy Commander of U.S. Fleet Forces Command, currently serves as the Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Budget, 34 years of service to the Navy, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal. Rear Admiral Christopher S. Gray to be Vice Admiral in the U.S. Navy and the Commander of Navy Installations Command, currently serves as Commander of Navy Region Mid-Atlantic, 34 years of service. He has served as the Commander of Navy Region Northwest and the Chief of Staff of Navy Installations Command, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal, Air Medal with Combat V and Strike Flight, numeral 1. Rear Admiral James Pitts to be Vice Admiral in the U.S. Navy and Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for Warfighting, Requirements, and Capabilities. Currently serves as the Director of the Warfare Integration Office of Chief Naval Operations, 37 years of service. Legion of Merit with 1 Gold Star, Defense Superior Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal with 3 Gold Stars, 30 different awards, many received multiple times. General Kenneth Wilsbach for reappointment as a general in the U.S. Air Force and Commander, Air Force Combat Command, currently serves as the Commander of Pacific Air Forces, 38 years of service. General Wilsbach as a command pilot with more than 5,000 hours in multiple aircrafts, Defense Distinguished Service Medal with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Defense Superior Service Medal with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Legion of Merit with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, and the Bronze Star Medal. Major Linda S. Hurry to be Lieutenant General in the U.S. Air Force and Deputy Commander, Air Force Material Command. She's nominated to be the Deputy Commander of Air Force Material Command, which manages installation and mission support, discovery and development, testing and evaluation and lifecycle management services, and sustainment for every Air Force weapon system. Air Force Material Command employs nearly 86,000 military and civilian airmen, managing a $71.3 billion budget. Major Hurry has served for 32 years, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Defense Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster. Brigadier General Miguel Mendez to be Major General in the Army National Guard of the United States. He served 35 years in the Army, encompassing 20 different duty stations, Meritorious Service Medal with 2 Bronze Oak Leaf Clusters, Army Commendation Medal with 1 Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster. Colonel Marlene Marketan to be Brigadier General in the U.S. Army Reserve. She currently serves as the Group Commander at Fort Totten, New York. She served 32 years in the Army, encompassing 20 different duty stations, Bronze Star Medal, Meritorious Service Medal with 3 Bronze Oak Leaf clusters. Colonel David Castaneda to be Brigadier General in the U.S. Air Force Reserve. He served 30 years in the Air Force, 21 different duty stations. He served in multiple different leadership capacities at both the headquarters and wing level. He is a command pilot with more than 2,600 hours in the F-16 and F-35, and more than 550 of those hours are in combat. Legion of Merit with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Meritorious Service Medal with 3 Oak Leaf Clusters. Major General Carl H. Gingrich to be a Lieutenant General in the U.S. Army, while also serving as a Deputy Chief of Staff in the U.S. Army. Currently serves as Director of Program Analysis and Evaluation with the U.S. Army. 34 years in the Army, 23 different duty assignments, including 2 assignments in support of combat operations, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit with 4 Bronze Oak Leaf Clusters, and the Bronze Star Medal. The following 3 officers have been nominated to serve as Rear Admiral in the Navy Reserve. Rear Admiral Kenneth R. Blackman currently serves as the Reserve Director for U.S. Fleet Forces Command. Previously served as Deputy Commander of the U.S. 3rd Fleet. Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Joint Service Commendation Medal. Rear Admiral Mark Lederer currently serves as the Reserve Deputy for Fleet Readiness and Logistics for the CNO. 32 years in the Navy, encompassing 21 different duty assignments. Legion of Merit with 1 Gold Star, Defense Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Gold Star. Rear Admiral Robert Nowakowski currently serves as Reserve Vice Commander, U.S. Naval Forces for U.S. Central Command. 31 years in the Navy, encompassing 21 different duty assignments. He previously served as Deputy Commander of the Navy Recruiting Command. I would love to have him here and ask him how this blockade might affect recruiting into the Navy. Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Gold Star. The President's nominated these 6 officers in the Navy Reserve to the grade of Rear Admiral as unrestricted line officers. Captain Jeffrey Jurgemeyer currently serves as Chief of Navy Reserve, U.S. Naval Surface Force Pacific. 30 years in the Navy and Reserve, 18 different duty assignments. Legion of Merit, Bronze Star, Meritorious Service Medal with 2 Gold Stars. Captain Richard Lofgren currently serves as the Commanding Officer, Navy Reserve 4th Fleet. 30 years, 20 different duty assignments. Legion of Merit, Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Gold Star. Captain Michael Mattis currently serves as the Deputy Commander, Navy Reserve Region Readiness and Mobilization Command in San Diego. 29 years in the Navy, 17 different duty assignments. Legion of Merit with 2 Gold Stars and the Bronze Star. Captain Richard Meyer serves as the Deputy Commander of the Navy Region Southeast Reserve Component in Fort Worth. 30 years in the Navy, 20 different duty assignments. Legion of Merit with 1 Gold Star, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Captain Byron T. Smith, currently serving as Commanding Officer of the Navy Reserve Navy Installations Command, EOC. 28 years in the Navy, 17 different duty assignments. Legion of Merit with 1 Gold Star and the Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Gold Star. Captain Michael R. Van Poots, currently serving as the Deputy Commander of Navy Reserve Region Readiness and Mobilization Command. 28 years in the Navy, 20 different assignments. Defense Superior Service Medal, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Captain John Byington to be Rear Admiral. 33 years in the Navy with 22 different duty assignments. Previously served as the Region Commander for the Naval Information Force Reserve Southeast Region. Defense Meritorious Service Medal with 2 Bronze Oak Leaf Clusters and Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Gold Star. John Robinson to be Rear Admiral in the U.S. Reserve, currently serves as the Commanding Officer of the Navy Reserve Chief of Information Headquarters, 26 years in the Navy, 10 different duty stations, Defense Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Gold Star, Meritorious Service Medal. Lieutenant General Greg Guillot, we had him before our committee today, who's a general in the U.S. Air Force, to serve as the commander of the U.S. Northern Command, protecting the homeland of the United States and North America, and also to be the commander of North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD. Currently serves as Deputy Commander of U.S. Central Command. He has commanded a flying squadron, operations group, 2 flying wings, numbered Air Force, 34 years in the Air Force with 24 different duty assignments, more than 1,380 flying hours, Distinguished Service Medal, Defense Superior Service Medal with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, Legion of Merit with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Bronze Star Medal with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters. Lieutenant General Laura Potter, to be a Lieutenant General in the Army and also to serve as the Director of Army Staff. Currently serves as the Deputy Chief of Staff, which is the principal officer responsible to the Chief of Staff of the Army for all Army intelligence matters. 33 years in the Army, 20 different duty assignments, including foreign supportive combat operations. Defense Service Medal, Defense Superior Service Medal with 1 Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster, Legion of Merit with 1 Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster, and the Bronze Star Medal with 1 Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster. Major General William J. Hartman, to be a Lieutenant General in the United States Army while serving as the Deputy Commander of U.S. Cyber Command. Currently serves as Commander of Cyber National Mission Force. Born in Mobile, Alabama, graduated from the University of South Alabama ROTC program, 33 years in the Army encompassing 19 different duty assignments, including 8 assignments in support of combat operations. Legion of Merit with 1 Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster, Bronze Star Medal with 2 Bronze Oak Leaf Clusters, Meritorious Service Medal with 4 Bronze Oak Leaf Clusters. Captain David Ludwood to be a Rear Admiral in the U.S. Navy Reserve. 28 years in the Navy, 24 different duty assignments, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster, Meritorious Service Medal with 2 Gold Stars. Captain Peter Mashinsky to be the United States Naval Reserve as a Navy chaplain. Currently serves as the Deputy Fleet Chaplain with the Navy Reserve, the U.S. Pacific Fleet. He served 33 years in the Navy, all as chaplain. Served in 15 different duty assignments, providing chaplain and ministry services to sailors and Marines around the world. Meritorious Service Medal with 3 Gold Stars. Captain Mark F. Williams, be Rear Admiral in the U.S. Navy Reserve Civil Engineer Corps. Earned his commission at the Academy in 1998 with a degree in ocean engineering, 25 years in the Navy, 17 different duty assignments, Meritorious Service Medal with 2 Gold Stars, and a Joint Service Commendation Medal. Lieutenant General Andrew M. Rowling, to be Lieutenant General while also serving as the Deputy Chairman of North Atlantic Treaty Organization Military Committee, a very important position because it's a very important time for NATO. Served as Deputy Commanding General, U.S. Army Africa Europe, 34 years in the Army, 27 different duty stations, 7 supporting combat operations. Distinguished Service Medal, Defense Superior Service Medal for Combat Service, Legion of Merit with 2 Bronze Oak Leaf Clusters, Bronze Star Medal for Valor with 1 Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster, Bronze Star Medal with 3 Bronze Oak Leaf Clusters, Purple Heart recipient. Major General John B. Richardson IV, to serve as Commanding General, 1st U.S. Army, 32 years of service, 27 different duty assignments, including 6 assignments supporting combat operations, Defense Superior Service Medal for Combat Service, Defense Superior Service Medal with 1 Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster, Legion of Merit for Combat Service, Legion of Merit with 2 Bronze Oak Leaf Clusters, Bronze Star Medal for Valor, Bronze Star Medal with 2 Bronze Oak Leaf Clusters, Purple Heart recipient. I will now rest my voice and yield back to my chairman, Senator Reid.
I thank the senator from Virginia. Let me continue the roll of honor.
The gentleman from Rhode Island.
Thank you, Mr. President. Brigadier General David P. Garfield, he is a command pilot with 4,800 flying hours, including 506 combat hours. He has been awarded the Legion of Merit and the Distinguished Flying Cross. Brigadier General Michael A. Hansen to become Major General. Brigadier General Hansen has flown the A-10 and the F-16 in a variety of operational assignments and is a command pilot with more than 3,400 flying hours and over 200 combat hours. General Jody A. Merritt. She has served 33 years in uniform, spanning 17 different duty assignments. She's been awarded the Legion of Merit and Defense Meritorious Service Medal. General Adrian K. White. He has 33 years of uniform service, spanning 17 different duty assignments, awarded the Legion of Merit and the Defense Meritorious Service Medal. General William W. Wittenberger, Jr. He is a command pilot with more than 4,500 hours and has flown combat missions in Bosnia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. And he's been awarded the Legion of Merit and the Defense Meritorious Service Medal. General Christopher F. Yancey, his combat experience includes 9 deployments in Operations Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom, Southern Watch, and Northern Watch, multiple operations in the former Yugoslavia, and Expeditionary Fighter Squadron Command in South Korea. The President has nominated Colonel Carlos M. Caceres to be a Brigadier General in the United States Army Reserve. The Colonel has served 31 years in uniform. He completed a 19-month deployment to Iraq and was awarded the Bronze Star. The President has nominated Colonel William F. Wilkinson to be a Brigadier General in the United States Army Reserve. He has 22 months deployed in support of operations in Iraq and Afghanistan and has been awarded 2 Bronze Stars. The President has nominated Colonel Evelyn E. Laptuk to Brigadier General. She has now served 30 years in uniform, including as Deputy Surgeon General, Office of Surgeon General, Defense Intelligence Agency, and Chief of Intelligence / Assistant Chief of Staff, J2, Kosovo Forces. The President has nominated Brigadier General Ronald R. Reagan to be a Major General in the U.S. Army. He has 5 separate deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, has been awarded 4 Legion of Merit and 3 Bronze Star medals. The President has nominated Captain Walter D. Bradford and Captain Robert J. Hawkins to be appointed to the grade of Rear Admiral. Captain Bradford has 27 years of service as a dental officer. Captain Hawkins has 26 years of service primarily as a nurse anesthetist. The following individuals have been nominated to Rear Admiral Lower Half. Captain Amy Norrin Bosch-Smith. She's currently serving as Commanding Officer, USS Abraham Lincoln, has 29 years of service. Captain Michael Brent DeVore, 28 years of service. He was the Commanding Officer of USS New York and the Commanding Officer of the USS Stetham. Captain Thomas Anthony Donovan, 27 years of service. Commanding Officer, Naval Special Warfare Tactical Development and Evaluation Squadron 2. Captain Frederick Carl Goldhammer, 30 years of service, Commanding Officer, USS Ronald Reagan. Captain Ian Lake Johnson, 29 years of service, Commanding Officer, Naval Station, Newport, Rhode Island. Also awarded the Legion of Merit Meritorious Service Medal. Captain Neil Andrew Koprowski, was the Commanding Officer of the USS Kearsarge and the Commanding Officer of USS San Antonio. Captain Paul Joseph Lanzalotta, currently serving as Commanding Officer, USS Gerald R. Ford, one of our carriers. His awards include the Legion of Merit and the Meritorious Service Medal. Captain Joshua Lasky, currently serving as Assistant Deputy Director for Global Operations, J39, Joint Staff, Washington, D.C., 29 years of service. Captain Donald Wilson Marks, 28 years of service. He was the Commanding Officer, Naval Surface Group, Western Pacific. Captain Craig Thomas Mattingly. He's currently serving as Senior Military Advisor, Office of the Secretary of the Navy, 29 years of service. Captain Andrew Thomas Miller, currently serving as Chief of Staff, United States Strategic Command, Special Activities Atlantic, 29 years of service. Captain Lincoln Michael Refstek, currently serving as Branch Head, Commander's Action Group, Undersea Warfare Division 997, 28 years of service. Captain Frank Alexander Rhodes IV, 28 years of service. He was the commander of Carrier Air Wing 3. And his awards include the Legion of Merit and the Meritorious Service Medal. Captain Thomas Edward Schultz, currently serving as Executive Assistant to the Undersecretary of the Navy, 29 years of service, and was the commanding officer of the USS Green Bay. Captain Todd Edward Whalen, currently serving as Chief of Staff, Naval Surface Force Atlantic, 28 years of service. Captain Forrest Owen Young, 29 years of service, and formerly Commander Carrier Wing 5. The President has nominated Captain Frank G. Shirlreth III to be a Rear Admiral, lower half in the U.S. Navy. He's currently serving as Division Chief Executive Assistant to the Director, Defense Intelligence Agency, and he's selected as Special Duty Officer for his foreign expertise. He served as the Naval Attaché in Greece and the Assistant Naval Attaché in Israel. The President has nominated Captain Brian J. Anderson and Captain Julie M. Traynor for appointments to the grade of Rear Admiral, lower half. Captain Anderson, currently serving as Assistant Commander, Supply Chain Policy and Management, Naval Supply Systems. He has 28 years of service. Captain Julie Murray Traynor is currently serving as Chief of Staff, N41, Office of the Chief of Naval Operations, with 29 years of service. The President has nominated Rear Admiral lower half Casey J. Moulton and Rear Admiral lower half Stephen R. Tedford to the grade of Rear Admiral in the United States Navy. Admiral Moulton is currently serving as Program Executive Officer, Unmanned and Small Combatants. He has 34 years of service. Admiral Tedford is currently serving as Program Executive Officer for Unmanned Aviation and Strike Weapons. He has 32 years of service. The President has nominated Rear Admiral lower half Rick Friedman to be a Rear Admiral in the United States Navy. Admiral Friedman currently serving as Director, Education and Training, Defense Health Agency, 32 years of service. The President has nominated Rear Admiral lower half Kenneth W. Epps to be Rear Admiral in the United States Navy. Admiral Epps currently serving as Commander, Naval Supply Systems, Command Weapons System Support, 33 years of service. The President has nominated the following officers to the grade of Rear Admiral in the Navy. Admiral Stephen Denard Barnett, currently serving as Navy Region Hawaii Commander, Naval Surface Group, MidPAC, 32 years of service. Rear Admiral lower half Michael Wayne Bays, currently serving as Commander, Expeditionary Strike Group 3, 33 years of service. Admiral Richard Thomas Brophy, Jr., currently serving as Chief of Naval Air Training, 32 years of service. Rear Admiral Joseph F. Cahill III, currently serving as Commander, Carrier Strike Group 15, 31 years of service. Admiral Jeffrey John Zerawak, currently serving as Commander, Carrier Strike Group 4, 33 years of service. Admiral Brian Llewellyn Davies, currently serving as Submarine Group 2 Commander, assumed additional duties as 2nd Fleet Deputy Commander, 32 years of service. Admiral Michael Philip Donnelly, currently serving as Task Force 70 Commander, Carrier Strike Group 5 Commander, 34 years of service. Formerly Commanding Officer of the USS Ronald Reagan. Rear Admiral lower half Daniel Pratt Martin, currently serving as Director, Maritime Operations Task Force, U.S. Pacific Fleet, 32 years of service. Admiral Richard Edward Seif, Jr., he's currently serving as Submarine Group 7 Commander, Task Force 7-4 Commander, Task Force 5-4, 30 years of service. Admiral Paul Carl Spadiro, Jr., currently serving as Carrier Strike Group 8 Commander with 33 years of service. Admiral Derek Andrew Trink, currently serving as Commander, Expeditionary Strike Group 7, Amphibious Force 7th Fleet with 31 years of service. Admiral Dennis Velez, currently serving as Commander, Carrier Strike Group 10, 31 years of service. Admiral Darrell Leo Walker, currently serving as Commander, Combined Joint Task Force Cyber 10th Fleet, 33 years of service. Admiral Jerome Boone Williams, currently serving as Commander, U.S. Special Operations Command Pacific, 30 years of service. The President has nominated the following officers for appointments to the grade of Rear Admiral Lower Half in the United States Navy. Captain Joshua Charles Himes, currently serving as Chief of Staff, U.S. Fleet Cyber Command, U.S. 10th Fleet, 30 years of service. Captain Curtis Arthur Mole, currently serving as Information Warfare Commander, Carrier Strike Group 5, 28 years of service. The following nominations to Brigadier General: Colonel Brandon C. Anderson, currently serving as Deputy Commander Maneuver, 2nd Infantry Division Combined, 8th Army, Republic of Korea, 27 years of service. Colonel Beth A. Ben, currently serving as Chief of Transportation and Commandant, United States Army Transportation School, Fort Lee, Virginia, 29 years of service. Colonel Matthew W. Brahman, 28 years of service, including Commander, 2nd Battalion, 10th Aviation Regiment during Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan, awarded the Silver Star. Colonel Kenneth J. Burgess, 26 years of service, awarded the Legion of Merit and the Bronze Star. Colonel Thomas E. Burke, currently serving as Director of House Affairs, Office of the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Legislative Affairs, Washington, D.C., 29 years of service. Colonel Chad C. Chalfant, 28 years of service, and awarded the Bronze Star. Colonel Kendall J. Clark, Commander, 1st Battalion, 41st Infantry Regiment, 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Armored Division during Operation Enduring Freedom, the Legion of Merit, and the Bronze Star. Colonel Patrick M. Costello, 26 years of service, Commander, 3rd Battalion, 4th Air Defense Artillery Regiment, 108th Air Defense Artillery Brigade, Operation Enduring Freedom. Colonel Rory A. Crooks, 29 years of service, commanded the 1st Battalion, 37th Field Artillery during Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Colonel Troy M. Denomy, 27 years of service, commanded C Company, 2nd Battalion, 5th Cavalry, 1st Cavalry Division, Operation Iraqi Freedom in Iraq, and was awarded the Purple Heart. Colonel Sarah E. Dudley, Commander, Headquarters and Headquarters Company, 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 101st Airborne Division, during Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Colonel Joseph E. S. Candon, currently serving as the Commander, United States Army Joint Modernization Command, Futures and Concept Center. He has 27 years of service. Colonel Alric L. Francis, commands Field Artillery Squadron, 3rd Cavalry Regiment, 1st Cavalry Division, during Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Colonel George C. Hackler, 29 years of service, was the Director of Capabilities Development, Combined Security Transition Command in Afghanistan during Operation Resolute Support. Colonel William C. Hannon, Jr. He was Chief, Office of Security Operation, Iraq, and Operation Inherent Resolve, and was awarded the Bronze Star Medal. Colonel Peter G. Hart, 28 years of service, was Director J5, United States Forces, Afghanistan, during Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Colonel Gregory L. Holden, 28 years of service, served as the Director, J2, Combined Joint Forces Land Component Command, Operation Inherent Resolve in Iraq. Colonel Paul D. Howard, currently serving as the Commandant, United States Army Signal School, Fort Gordon, Georgia. Colonel James G. Kent was the Executive Officer of the Deputy Commanding General, United States Army Materiel Command at the Redstone Arsenal in Alabama, and he is being nominated for Brigadier General. Colonel Curtis W. King commanded the 1st Battalion, 7th Air Defense Artillery 7th Air Defense Artillery during Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Colonel John P. Lloyd is currently serving as Commander, North Atlantic Division, United States Army Corps of Engineers, Brooklyn, New York. And with that, I would yield to my colleague from Virginia.
The chair recognizes the General from Virginia.
Thank you, Mr. President. Vice Admiral Jeffrey W. Hughes, Vice Admiral of the U.S. Navy while serving as Deputy Chief of Staff for Capability Development, received his commission after graduating from Duke University, 35 years in the Navy, 22 different duty assignments, formerly Commander of Navy Personnel Command, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, and Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Gold Star. Major General Heath A. Collins to be Lieutenant General in the U.S. Air Force while serving as Director of the Missile Defense Agency, currently serving as the Program Executive for that agency at the Redstone Arsenal in Alabama, nominated to lead this important agency that is a critical research and development and acquisition agency within the Department of Defense, 30 years in the Air Force, 23 different duty assignments, Legion of Merit with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Defense Meritorious Service Medal with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, Meritorious Service Medal with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster. Lieutenant General Jeffrey A. Cruz to be the Lieutenant General in the U.S. Air Force while serving as the Director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. 32 years in the Air Force, 24 different duty assignments, Defense Superior Service Medal with 3 Oak Leaf Clusters, Legion of Merit with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Major General Michael G. Kaczewski to be Lieutenant General while serving as the Deputy Commander of the Air Force Combat Command. 31 years in the Air Force, 24 different duty assignments, 2,800 flying hours, including more than 650 combat hours in Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, Defense Meritorious Service Medal with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters. General Donna Shipton to be Lieutenant General in the U.S. Air Force while serving as the Commander of Air Force Life Cycle Management Center. 31 years in the Air Force, 19 different duty assignments. Distinguished Service Medal, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, Defense Meritorious Service Medal with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters. Lieutenant General John S. Kolacheski to be the Lieutenant General in the U.S. Army while serving as the Deputy Commanding General for U.S. Army, Europe, Africa. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine, he led V Corp's effort in support of Ukraine, deploying a core element forward to Poland and subsequently establishing a permanent forward headquarters, 34 years of service, 24 different duty assignments. Distinguished Service Medal, Defense Superior Service Medal, 5 Legions of Merit, 3 Bronze Star Medals, 4 Meritorious Service Medals, Combat Action Badge, Airborne Badge, Ranger Tab, and he served 3 combat tours in Iraq and 2 in Afghanistan. He's been forward deployed in combat for a total of 46 months, nearly 4 years away from his family. Colonel Matthew Gebhard to be Brigadier General in the U.S. Army Reserve, 30 years in the military, 19 different duty assignments, Airborne Ranger, and infantryman, expert infantryman badges. Colonel Catherine Braun to be Brigadier General in the U.S. Army Reserve, intelligence officer by training, 27 years of service, Meritorious Service Medal with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters. The following 2 nominations for Brigadier General to the grade of Major General. Brigadier General Mary Kruger, currently the Commanding General of the Medical Readiness Command East and Chief of the U.S. Army Medical Corps. Served in both Iraq and Afghanistan for 19 months, commanded clinics, hospitals, medical research centers, 3 Legions of Merit, 2 Bronze Star Medals, 4 Meritorious Service Medals, Flight Surgeon Badge, and Expert Field Medical Badge. Brigadier General Anthony L. McQueen, serving currently as the Commanding General of the U.S. Army Medical Research and Development Command. Deployed to Iraq twice for a total of 20 months, Army Distinguished Service Medal, Defense Superior Service Medal, 3 Legions of Merit, 4 Meritorious Service Medal, the Expert Field Medical Badge, Airborne Badge, and Air Assault Badge. Colonel Jack J. Stummy to be Brigadier General in the U.S. Army, currently an Army chaplain, serving as the Command Chaplain for U.S. Army Europe and Africa. He's deployed as chaplain, serving critical religious and spiritual needs of the military 4 separate times: Iraq, Kuwait, Afghanistan, for a total of 36 months. Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star Medal, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, 6 Meritorious Service Medals, 2 Joint Service Commendation Medals, Airborne Badge. Colonel James F. Porter to be a Brigadier General, U.S. Army Reserve, currently serving as the Chief of Staff for the 311th Sustainment Command. Deployed 3 times in support of contingency operations in Cuba and Kuwait for a total of 25 months. Legion of Merit, 3 Meritorious Service Medal, Airborne Badge. Brigadier General Beth Salisbury to be a Major General in the U.S. Army. She's a medical corps woman with a specialist as an occupational therapist, has commanded medical companies, medical commands, and medical brigades, deployed 4 times to Qatar, Kuwait, and Iraq in support of contingency operations, 43 months of forward deployment, nearly 4 years away from her family. Legion of Merit, Bronze Star Medal, 5 Meritorious Service Medal, 2 Joint Service Commendations. Major General Michael J. Lutton to be the Lieutenant General in the U.S. Air Force while serving as Deputy Commander of Air Force Global Strike Command. Previously commanded the Air Force's only group providing initial training for the nation's space and intercontinental ballistic missile operations. Defense Superior Service Medal, 2 Legions of Merit, 4 Meritorious Service Medal. Major General Charles Miller to be Lieutenant General in the U.S. Army and Director of the Defense Logistics Agency. 39 years of service, multiple combat tours, over 30 months deployed away from his family in those operations. Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit. Major General Ryan P. Heritage to be Lieutenant General in the U.S. Marine Corps and Deputy Commandant for Information at U.S. Marine Corps HQ. 33 years of service, numerous tours to support combat and contingency operations. Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Vice Admiral Craig A. Clapperton to be Vice Admiral in the U.S. Navy and the Commander of Fleet Cyber Command. 34 years of service. He's been the Commander of Combined Joint Task Force Cyber in the 10th Fleet, Commander of the Carrier Strike Group, 12th Fleet, Legion of Merit with 2 Gold Stars, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. 4 officers to the grade of Rear Admiral in the U.S. Navy. Captain Thomas James Dickerson, 28 years of service. Legion of Merit, Meritorious Service Medal. Captain Kevin Ray Smith, 29 years of service. Legion of Merit with 1 Gold Star, Meritorious Service Medal. Captain Todd Sinclair Weeks, 30 years of service. Legion of Merit, Meritorious Service Medal. Captain Diana Wolfson, 27 years of service. Legion of Merit, Meritorious Service Medal. The following officers for appointment to the grade of Major General in the United States Air Force. Brigadier General Curtis Bass currently serves as Vice Commander at the U.S. Air Force Warfare Center at Nellis Air Force Base. 28 years of service. Defense Superior Service Medal, Bronze Star Medal. Brigadier General Kenyon Bell, 28 years of service, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Brigadier General Charles D. Bolton, a Master Navigator with more than 2,800 hours, a distinguished graduate of the U.S. Air Force Weapons School, 29 years of service, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star Medal. Brigadier General Larry Broadwell received his commission in March 1996 from the Officer Training School at Maxwell Air Force Base in Alabama. 2,600 flying hours, 76 combat hours, 27 years of service, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star Medal. Brigadier General Scott Kaine, 2,800 hours of flying time, 28 years of service, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Brigadier General Sean Choquette, 30 years of service, multiple deployments to support combat and contingency operations, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star Medal. Brigadier General Roy W. Collins, 28 years of service, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Brigadier General John R. Edwards currently serves as the Director of Strategic Capabilities at the NSC at the White House. 28 years of service, 2,500 flight hours, including 237 combat hours, Defense Superior Service Medal and Legion of Merit. Brigadier General Jason Hines, 27 years of service, commander of the 1st Fighter Wing, Joint Base Langley in Virginia, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit. Brigadier General Justin R. Hoffman, 28 years of service, Defense Superior Service Medal and Bronze Star. Brigadier General Stacy Joe User, 27 years of service, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit. Brigadier General Matteo G. Martimucci, 29 years of service, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star, currently serves as the Director of Intelligence at U.S. Cyber Command. Brigadier General David Minu, 29 years of service, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal. Brigadier General Paul D. Moga currently serves as the Commandant of Cadets at the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. 2,600 flying hours, including more than 250 combat hours, 28 years of service, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Brigadier General Ty W. Newman also serves at the White House with the National Security Council. 3,188 flight hours, including 294 combat hours, 28 years of service, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit. Brigadier General Christopher Nemi, rated command pilot with 3,100 flight hours, 30 years of service, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit. Brigadier General Brandon D. Parker, command pilot with more than 2,800 hours in bomber aircraft, 380 of those in combat, 27 years of service, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Brigadier General Michael T. Rawls served as Commandant of the Air War College at Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama. Command pilot, accumulated more than 2,100 hours in 30 different aircraft, 31 years of service, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star Medal. Brigadier General Patrick S. Ryder, 31 years of service, Defense Superior Service Medal, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Brigadier General David G. Shoemaker, command pilot with more than 2,000 pilot hours, flown in operations Provide Comfort, Northern Watch, Southern Watch, Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom, logging more than 100 combat sorties in an F-16. 29 years of service, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Brigadier General Rebecca J. Sonkus currently serves as the commander of the 618th Air Operations Center at Scott Air Force Base. 4,400 hours, including 1,377 combat hours in 9 different Air Force manned and remotely piloted aircraft, 29 years of service, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star. Brigadier General Claude K. Tudor, Jr., commissioned through the ROTC program at Troy State University in Alabama, 31 years of service, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit. Brigadier General Dale R. White, 26 years of service, Legion of Merit. Major General David Hodney to be Lieutenant General in the U.S. and the Deputy Commanding General Futures Concepts at U.S. Army Futures Command. 31 years of service, 11 tours in support of combat and contingency operations, Purple Heart, Defense Superior Service Medal, 4 Legions of Merit, 4 Bronze Star Medals. Brian R. Moore to be Brigadier General in the U.S. Air Force, currently serves as the Director of Staff at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. 27 years of service, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Meritorious Service Medal with 3 oak leaf clusters. Vice Admiral Daniel Dwyer to be Vice Admiral in the U.S. Navy, Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for Warfighting Development. 35 years of service, commanded a provincial reconstruction team in Afghanistan in 2008, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star. Rear Admiral Darren K. Via to be Surgeon General of the Navy, 32 years of service, Commander, Naval Medical Forces Atlantic, Command Surgeon in U.S. Central Command, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal. Lieutenant General Scott Pleas to be Lieutenant General in the Air Force and Director of the Air Force Staff, 33 years of service, Command Pilot with more than 2,500 flying hours, combat hours earned during Operations Desert Fox and Southern Watch, Distinguished Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Defense Meritorious Service Medal. Brigadier General Dale White to be Lieutenant General in the U.S. Air Force and work as the Office of the Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Acquisition, Technology, and Logistics, 26 years of service, Legion of Merit, Meritorious Service Medal. Finally, Major General David Harris to be Lieutenant General in the U.S. Air Force and Deputy Chief of Staff, Air Force Futures Headquarters. 29 years of service, 2,500 flying hours, having flown in support of Operations Deliberate Force, Allied Force, Enduring Freedom, Iraqi Freedom, Combined Joint Task Force, Horn of Africa, and Inherent Resolve, a Master Navigator and Parachutist, receiving his commission following his graduation from the University of Alabama, 29 years of service, Distinguished Service Medal, Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Distinguished Flying Cross with Valor, Bronze Star Medal. I yield.
Mr. President, I would ask unanimous consent that all the remarks concerning the military promotions holds be placed together in the record as if uninterrupted.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me continue this roll of honor. To be promoted to Brigadier General Colonel Shannon M. Lucas, 28 years of service, including Deputy Commander, United States Army Colonel Division at Quantico, Virginia, the Legion of Merit, and the Bronze Star. Colonel Landis C. Maddox, currently serving as Commander, Joint Munitions and Lethality Life Cycle Management Command. He was the Executive Officer of the Commander General, United States Army Material Command, Redstone Arsenal, Alabama, Bronze Star Medal. Colonel Kareem P. Montague, currently serving as Deputy Commander, 4th Infantry Division, Fort Carson, Colorado, 28 years of service. He commanded the 1st Battalion, 321st Airborne Field Artillery, 18th Fires Brigade, 82nd Airborne Division, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star. Colonel John P. Mountfort, currently serving as Deputy Commander, Maneuver, 1st Infantry Division, Fort Riley, Kansas, and Operation Atlantic Resolve in Poland. 28 years of service, be awarded the Bronze Star. Colonel Davis C. Phillips, currently serving as Program Manager, Future Long Range Assault Aircraft Program, Executive Officer, Aviation in the Redstone Arsenal in Alabama. 28 years of service, Defense Superior Service Medal and Bronze Star. Colonel Kenneth N. Reed, currently serving as Commander, Southwestern Division, United States Army Corps of Engineers, Dallas, Texas, awarded the Legion of Merit and Bronze Star. Colonel John W. Sanis, currently serving as Deputy Chief of Staff, Combined Joint Task Force, Operation Inherent Resolve in Iraq, was the Commander, Special Operations Task Force, Afghanistan, and Operation Freedom's Sentinel, the Defense Superior Service Medal, and the Legion of Merit. Colonel Andrew O. Sasloff, currently serving as Deputy Commander, Operations, 82nd Airborne Division. He was the Commander, 1st Brigade, Combat Team, 82nd Airborne Division during Operation Spartan Shield in Kuwait, Legion of Merit, and Bronze Star. Colonel Charlene E. Stallworth, currently serving as Special Assistant for General Flag Officer Matters, Joint Staff, Washington, D.C., 29 years of service. Colonel Jennifer S. Walkwawis, currently serving as Director, Office for Personnel Management Director, United States Army Resources Command, Fort Knox, Kentucky, Legion of Merit and Bronze Star holder. Colonel Camilla A. White, currently serving as Chief of Staff, Office of Assistant Secretary of the Army. 29 years of service. She was Chief of Staff, Rapid Capabilities and Critical Technologies Office, Office of the Assistant Secretary of the Army, Acquisition, Logistics, and Technology at the Redstone Arsenal in Alabama. Also Program Manager for Terminal High Altitude Air Defense, Missile Defense Agency, Ground-Based Mid-Course Defense, Redstone Arsenal, Alabama. Colonel Scott D. Wilkinson, currently serving as Deputy Commander Support, 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault, and Operation European Assured, Deter, and Reinforce in Poland. 29 years of service, Legion of Merit, and Bronze Star Medal. Colonel Jeremy S. Wilson, currently serving as Deputy Commander Support, 3rd Infantry Division, Fort Stewart, Georgia, multiple combat deployments, holder of the Legion of Merit and the Bronze Star Medal. Colonel Scott C. Woodward, currently serving as Deputy Commander, United States Army Combined Arms Center, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, 29 years of service, Operation Inherent Resolve in Iraq, multiple combat deployments, Bronze Star Medal for Valor and the Legion of Merit. Colonel Joseph W. Wortham II, currently serving as Deputy Commander, 1st Special Forces Command, Airborne, Fort Liberty, North Carolina, 27 years of service. He was the commander of 5th Special Groups Airborne, United States Army, during Operation Inherent Resolve in Iraq. Colonel David J. Zinn, currently serving as Commander, 3rd Multi-Domain Task Force, United States Army Pacific, Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. He was the commander, 2nd Infantry Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division, during Operation Enduring Freedom. Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star Medal. The President has also nominated Major General David R. Iverson to be a Lieutenant General in the United States Air Force and Deputy Commander, U.S. Forces Career, Commander, Combined Air Component Command, United Nations Command, and Commander, Combined Air Component Command, Combined Forces Command, and Commander, 7th Air Force, Pacific Air Forces. Major General Iverson is a rated command pilot with 5,400 flying hours, including 1,500 combat hours. He is the holder of the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, the Air Force Distinguished Service Medal, and other awards. The President has nominated Lieutenant General Kevin B. Schneider to be a General in the United States Air Force and Commander of Pacific Air Forces and Air Component Command for the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. 35 years of service. Awards include the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, Air Force Distinguished Service Medal, and the Defense Superior Service Medal. The President has nominated Major General Laura L. Lenderman to be a Lieutenant General in the United States Air Force and Deputy Commander, Pacific Air Forces. 29 years of service, a rated command pilot with more than 3,000 flight hours, and a recipient of the Distinguished Service Medal and other awards. The President has nominated Major General Thomas L. James to be a Lieutenant General in the United States Army while serving as Deputy Commander, U.S. Space Command. He holds advanced degrees in Air Power Art and Science and Military Operational Art and Science from Air University, International Relations from Auburn University in Montgomery, Alabama, and Strategic Studies from the Air War College at Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama. He serves in the aviation branch of the Army and has lived and served in Alabama multiple times, both at Fort Rucker and Maxwell Air Force Base. He deployed to Afghanistan, Iraq, and Qatar in support of contingency operations for a total of 24 months. The President has nominated Major General Leonard F. Anderson IV to be a Lieutenant General in the United States Marine Corps while serving as Commander, Marine Forces Reserves, Commander, Marine Forces South. Major General Anderson is nominated to serve as the Marine Corps' Senior Most Reserve Officer. He would command and control assigned forces in order to assist and augment the active component with trained units and individual Marines. He has attended the Top Gun Strike Fighter Tactics Instructor course. He's been awarded the Legion of Merit and other awards. The President has nominated Lieutenant General Timothy D. Hawk to the rank of General in the Air Force while serving as Director of National Security Agency, Chief Central Security Service Commander, and Commander United States Cyber Command. The National Security Agency Central Security Service leads the U.S. government in cryptology that encompasses both signals intelligence, insights, and cybersecurity products and services, and enables computer network operations to gain a decisive advantage for the nation and our allies. Lieutenant General Hawk will be dual-hatted as Director NSA and Commander Cybercom. At this point, unless General Hawk is rapidly confirmed, we will have a gap at one of the most important organizations in the United States, Cyber Command and the National Security Agency. The President has nominated Lieutenant General James J. Mingus to be a general in the United States Army while serving as Vice Chief of Staff for the Army. He earned his commission in 1984 after graduating from the Army ROTC program at Winona State University, where he earned his bachelor's degree. He commanded the 82nd Airborne Division, has deployed multiple times to Iraq and Afghanistan in combat roles for a total of 38 months of contingency operations away from his family. He is the recipient of the Purple Heart. The President has nominated General Randy A. George to the rank of General while serving as the Chief of Staff of the United States Army. General George is commanded at a platoon, company, battalion, brigade, division, and corps level. He has served in combat in Operation Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and Operation Freedom Sentinel. He has served a total of 57 months deployed in contingency operations away from his family. He is a recipient of a Purple Heart. The President has nominated General Eric M. Smith, U.S. Marine Corps, to be General and Commandant of the Marine Corps. General Smith would be the 39th Commandant of the Marine Corps. He is the first acting Commandant in over 110 years. He has led Marines at every level, from platoon commander to Marine Expeditionary Force commander. He is also the recipient of the Purple Heart. The President has nominated General Charles Q. Brown to the rank of General while serving as Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. General Brown currently serves as the Chief of Staff for the United States Air Force. He is a career F-16 pilot and has flown more than 3,000 hours, including more than 130 combat flight hours. His awards include 2 Defense Distinguished Service Medals, the Distinguished Service Medal, Defense Superior Service Medal, 4 Legions of Merit, the Bronze Star Medal, the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, 3 Meritorious Service Medals, the Aerial Achievement Medal, and the Joint Service Commendation Medal. Mr. President, those are the nominees before us. I think what we've demonstrated tonight is the range of assignments and organizations that are affected by these holes, spanning every service, every theater of operations, every sector of operations, from space to cyber to submarines. This is a undermining of our military readiness, which is unseen before. These individuals deserve promotion. When you heard Senator Kaine and I talk about their qualifications, there is no doubt they deserve promotions. And the men and women who serve beneath them, who will serve beneath them, deserve their leadership, which has been tested over time, and in many cases through combat. They should not be political pawns. Now, before Senator Tuberville, we would be talking about our nominees. They're not nominees, they're hostages. We can't tolerate that. That's a disservice to these men and women, to our armed forces, to the men and women they lead. We have to do our duty. And as Senator Kaine said, there are appropriate ways to deal with policy decisions you don't like. You can take a vote. You can't hold all of these men and women, disrupt their family lives, send a signal to the military that, so what, 29 years of service, a couple of Purple Hearts, I don't care. I would hope that we could, that Senator Tuberville would immediately lift these holds. And we can't do it in a piecemeal fashion. the depth, the range of the responsibilities we've talked about this evening can't be cured by, oh, we'll confirm the commandant. We can't leave anyone behind. And if this precedent continues and is established, it will be used again and again and again to the detriment of the nation. This is the time for us to stand up. Stand up for what we always say about our devotion to the military, our respect for the military, that they shouldn't be demeaned, they shouldn't be used as political tokens. It's time to stop the speeches at the 4th of July and vote unanimously, as we typically do, by voice on these commands. Now, with that, I believe we have to conclude this evening. I ask unanimous consent that when the Senate completes its business today, it stand adjourned until the provisions of S. Res. 316 until 10 a.m. on Thursday, July 27th, that following the prayer and pledge, the journal of proceedings be approved to date, the morning hour be deemed expired, the time of the two leaders be reserved for their use later in the day, and morning business be closed. That upon the conclusion of morning business, the Senate resume the consideration of calendar number 119 S2226. Further, that at 11:30 a.m., the Senate vote on the remaining amendments under the previous order.
Without objection.
If there's no further business to come before the Senate, I ask that it stand adjourned under the previous order.
Under the previous order and pursuant to